Morning, guys. It's definitely not a John Kerry day today. It's supposed to rain. It looks like it's going to. Very windy too, as you can probably hear. Well, let's see here. So, got a lot of great comments, and I appreciate every single one of them. And I appreciate you guys trying to help me figure out, what's going on with this stuff. As most of you know, I've been dealing with this for probably a year. When I first sprayed my first SPI epoxy, you probably remember these panels that I did on the SPI epoxy torture test. This was a year ago. Now, it didn't make the product fail at all or anything like that. But if you can see, let's see if I can get that to show in the light. There's those little pits. See them? It's the same exact pits that I'm getting still today. Now, getting on their forum and looking at that, there's lots of people that have had these same issues. Now, most of the people that are having the issues are fairly new to the epoxy. A lot of the people who use it in shops and stuff have figured it out and are not having any issues with it. So more than likely it's my spray technique or something that I'm doing to clean the panels. More than likely I'm going to say it's my spray technique, because when I first sprayed this, when it was bare metal, every time I've sprayed it in bare metal since the first time I did the interior panels on this and I had it pop, I started spraying a light coat, and Sam from Oak Classic Car Overhauling had talked about it. He said he always sprays a light coat. Well, on bare metal, I started spraying light coats, and then I wait 30 minutes and I come back and then spray a wet coat, and then come back and spray another wet coat. I hadn't had any problems. It had been working. I actually did this the exact same way, and I had that video where it's just a couple videos ago where I did it and it worked fine. I had a couple little issues here and there, but not so much, not like this. I mean, they were just little tiny ones. And so, looking at the forums, every person that's had problems looks like they've all had problems with spraying it too fat, and I guess the solvents can't escape, so they crater, they pop. The solvents are trying to escape. So from here on out, and see, on this one I thought, this isn't bare metal, this is filler, so it's gonna, the rules will be different. Well, obviously they weren't different, because I had it happen worse this time than I've ever had it happen. And I don't know how well that'll show. Like I said, my camera's pretty crappy, but they have shrunk a lot. Those are tiny, tiny, tiny pinholes. Obviously they're still pinholes though. But I have no doubt those will sand out with 180, no problem, and then I'll high build over it and it'll be fine. So I don't think there's going to be any issues. But I definitely need to get this spray, the way I spray this stuff down better. Now, I haven't looked at the back side of this because I didn't use any wax and grease remover on the back side of this. And I didn't get any issues either. Of course, I just sprayed, that was very light. I sprayed these really light because I was just trying to spray over the filler to fill it in, or to seal it up basically. But I don't see any issues on the back side. So I've got one of two problems. I'm spraying it on too thick, which is very likely. Or I need to stop using the wax and grease remover that I'm using. And I'll show you the wax and grease remover that I'm using. It's not the SPI. Now I have the waterborne, and you guys correct me if I'm wrong on this, but I didn't want to use waterborne wax and grease remover on filler because it's waterborne, and I figured the water might get into the filler and I didn't want that. So maybe that's overkill on that. But I was always under the assumption that you want to use solvent-based type cleaners over the filler. Spray it on your rag and wipe it, and don't soak it down, which I've had one guy say he soaked it down multiple times and never had any issues. So, but he's also not using this epoxy, which seems to be extra sensitive to how you spray it. So there's my waterborne wax and grease remover. The stuff that I use for my solvent base is this stuff here. T9 wax and grease remover. I bought this at, I don't know, I think Steve's Wholesale Tool or something, and that may very well be the problem. That may be absolute shit. I don't know. You know, even though it says formulated for the body shop professional, I mean, they'll put anything on there to sell their product. But my best bet may be go ahead and go with, you know, their their solvent-based wax and grease remover, which I haven't bought. But I'm gonna do what Matt said, and basically when I do my filler, I'll just spray it off real good with air, and you know, leave it at that. And I'm not gonna. What the heck? We have a rock quarry not too far from here, and I think they're blowing shit up over there, so that's probably what that was. It shakes the house sometimes. Anyway, so yeah, I'm gonna blow it off with air from here on out, maybe wipe over it with a dry, you know, blue towel, and just blow it really well, and then spray my epoxy. I'm gonna stop putting chemicals underneath this epoxy because it's obviously, except for the waterborne wax and grease remover, on bare metal, because I have to clean that. I think, and you guys saw me, I cleaned it with Windex or whatever, that glass cleaner. Then I went to isopropyl alcohol 70-30. Then I went to waterborne wax and grease remover, and like I said, when I hit bare metal with this, I didn't have any problems. I also sprayed it very light, so I need to keep doing that if I'm going to keep using this product. Spraying the first coat light, and walk away for 30 minutes, come back, and then start spraying my wet coats and see how that works out. If at this point, I'm going to continue to do this, and like today, I think I'm going to take this panel here and just run it down to bare metal and do the exact same thing that I did to that one. Clean it with all three of the cleaners, get it all nice and cleaned up. I may put that heat light on it and kind of let it, you know, sit for a little bit. I'm gonna wait a couple hours, and then I'm gonna spray me some epoxy down on it. Light coat, let it sit, come back, and then go ahead and spray my wet coats. We'll see how that works. If I continue to get these problems, I'm gonna have to switch products. And I know a lot of guys are probably thinking, why the hell are you still using this product? Why haven't you switched? You think a normal, reasonable person would figure out that, you know, when you're having so much problems with one specific product, you should obviously change. Well, it's like I told one of the guys on here, I've got several $100s in this product. Now I know I've got lots of time and you know, all that kind of stuff too, and having these failures and having to go back over and all that stuff. But I have 2 full gallons of this stuff, so I don't really want to waste it. And from everything I've read, people that get this stuff to work love it. They won't use anything else but this. Over PPG, over the rest of them. They say it's the best product they've ever used, best corrosion protection, sand's the best. It's absolutely the best stuff ever. It's just getting past the learning curve. So I've obviously got a really long learning curve behind me. But I think once I figure this out, and hopefully this will happen within the next couple of days, I'll be good to go, and hopefully I can help other people if they spray the epoxy and have the same problems. Then I can hopefully help out with their issues because I've been through it. All this stuff is a learning curve. I'm new to spraying, you know, in general, so I've got a lot to learn about spraying paint, spraying all that stuff. So like I said, I did the bodywork stuff, and this was all the painters. They did all this stuff. So I'm this brand new learning, and you know, with this stuff, it's really sensitive. So the learning curve is definitely there. But I think once I get it figured out, I think I'm going to be real happy. And like I said, the customer service with this SPI product is like nothing I've ever seen in my life. And he you know, I'm telling you, if you go to the forums, there's thousands and thousands of people that love this product, that spray it every day and have no issues. So it's got to be something that I'm doing wrong. And that's why I keep beating this horse, you know. I'm like, man, I've got to be doing something wrong. It's not the product, it's me. I've taken it down to where it's not anything in the atmosphere. And again, the only times I've ever had problems with it is when I spray it on a little bit too wet and then it wants to pop. If I spray the thin coats on it, it seems to do fine. So that may be the key on this. It may not be the wax and grease remover at all, but regardless, I'm deleting that solvent-based wax and grease remover from this equation, basically. At least on the fillers and stuff like that. Now on the bare metal, I'm going to use the waterborne wax and grease remover anyway. So I'm not even using that solvent-based, which I don't know. Anyway, so I'll figure it out, and when I do, you know, I'll take you guys with me and we'll get her figured out, and then I'll move on and get this thing going. Because I've got lots of, like I told one guy on here, I've got lots and lots of parts to practice on. I mean, everything you see is going to have to be covered in epoxy. So I either get this right or I switch products. That's just the way it is. I mean, I'm only so dense. So once I can't figure this out this time and I'm starting to spray a lot of epoxy, I'll have to switch. I'll have to do something else. Although looking at PPG's products, they're probably at least twice as expensive as this. I think I paid $91 for 1 gallon of this epoxy and $35 for the activator. I mean, that's really reasonable. Whereas I'm looking at PPG's products and I'm thinking at least twice that. I could be wrong, and it's hard to find online. Like, they don't sell it on eBay. They don't sell. So I was looking online for how much the stuff is, and it seems like it's like $165 to $180 a gallon. That's just for that. Then you've got to pay another probably $80 for the activator. So you can see it's at least double the cost, which, you know, that's why I keep kicking this product, because if it's as good as they say it is, and it seems to be, once you get it on there, once you've figured out how to spray it, then the cost is phenomenal compared to the rest of them. All right, guys, turn this fan off. So I got that blocked out in 180, and it's a long block, and got most of the little bumps out of it, or little pits out of it. I mean, I still see like a little shadow of them, but I think the high build will cover that just fine. Panel temps 76 degrees. I got the heat lamp on it, probably 85 or more by the time I get to spraying it, but yep. So I'm gonna let that sit for an hour, maybe 2, because I cleaned it with waterborne wax and grease remover, the SPI waterborne wax and grease remover, and that's pretty much it. Cleaned it real good till I got, you know, my paper towel was lifting completely clean, and I'm happy with it. So I've never had any problems with the high build doing anything crazy, and I don't expect to now. I doubt you can see, but the panel turned out as good as I could ever expect it to, as far as straightness and flatness goes. And so you know, once we get two or three coats or 4 coats of high build and let it shrink up, and then I'll kick it back out with 180 and 320, and we'll see where she lands. But yeah, that's it for now. Like I said, when I come back, I'll probably be spraying some high build on this, and I'll talk to you later. See ya. Hey guys, I was gonna prime this tonight, and I come back out here, and I was looking this over, and I've got a couple of really tiny breakthroughs to metal right here and here. Actually, those are the only 2 spots, but I don't want to spray high build primer over that, because the high build primer is not direct to metal. So what I was told to do by the SPI guy a long time ago is just mix up a little bit with the touch-up brush and go over that, and then high build over that, which I did on the last, I think on the door. So what I'm gonna do, instead of high building tonight, I'll probably just come back out tomorrow. And I left this light on here. I've had that on there for quite a while. That it got that panel up to 100 degrees, so I backed it up a little bit. Doesn't need to be that hot. So like I said, I'm gonna go ahead and strip this down to metal, and I'm gonna get some epoxy inducing, and I'm gonna clean that up real good, and I may epoxy this tonight. And then, all right guys, you remember this piece here that I modified the ends of? When it stripped that down to bare metal, red Scotch-Brite it all underneath it and got it all prepped up, so it's ready to go. Decided I'd go ahead and take this one and take it down to metal. Now this is the one that had just regular primer. Now that's got the EDP on it, which is electroplated coating. This has just black primer. Okay, so the reason I'm going to show you this is why I feel, this is just my opinion, why I feel it's so important to take these parts back down to metal. At least the parts that are going to show, you know, that it could fail on the outside of the car type thing. All right. See that? That's rust. Right through there, that's rust. Okay, that's rusted underneath the primer. So had I just scuffed that up and shot it, that would have been an issue. So I'm using that with 80 grit to rip this down, and I probably won't get that done tonight because I decided that I was going to go ahead and epoxy multiple of these small pieces at one time. And while I got that mixed up, I'll go ahead and touch these little bare areas. So hopefully I'll get on that tomorrow and get that done. That, and I'll probably do these little side panels here too. I need to pull those out of the car and get them over there. That way I don't forget about them. This little stuff's easy to overlook if you forget it. Get it tucked away somewhere. I'll probably strip those down and hang everything. After I get done with that, hang everything all at once and go around it and shoot everything at once instead of doing this little onesie-twosie thing like I've been doing, because it's taken forever to do it this way. So get everything, all these small parts in epoxy, and then start doing the filler work and everything on them here in the next few days or whatever. Same with that. And he wants these holes filled. He said he'll never put a license plate on the front of this. So I think what I'm going to do, instead of trying to make little tiny patch panels for that, I've got this fat ass rod. I've actually got several of these. I've got that one there, and then you guys have seen this big ass rod here. And I think what I'm going to do is bend that end, stick it in there, and weld all that in just using this rod, kind of like doing a TIG ish, you know. You guys have seen me do it before, but I think that's what I'm going to do to fill that in, instead of trying to create a tiny ass little patch and trying to weld that in and all that. So, but yeah, I think that'll work pretty decent, I think. All right, guys, that'll probably be it for me tonight. It's 9:35, and so I'm gonna go back in the house, shut everything down, go back in the house, and maybe upload this video. Like I said, I was hoping to get this shot again today. I apologize, but probably tomorrow, for sure, I'll be back in my black epoxy, so we'll get back on this issue I'm having and figure it out. But all right, guys, you guys have a good night, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.